Hi, Luke Lango here, America's #1 stock picker. And this is Investor Place Quick Picks, where we communicate to you some of the market's best investment ideas in just 10 minutes.
America's #1 stock picker, Luke Lango's Investor Place Quick Picks.
Today, we're going to talk about an electric trucking company that used to be red hot, has since gone ice cold, but which could get red hot again very soon. The name, Hyliion, ticker HYLN. Now, Hyliion was a Wall Street darling in mid-2020. Investors were wowed by the company's breakthrough renewable natural gas technology and its potential to address the shortcomings of electric and hydrogen tech in long-haul trucking. From June to September 2020, Hyliion stock soared from $10 to $55. Then the hype faded. Over the past 5 months, Hyliion stock has crashed and burned back to $15. Now, why, you might ask? Well, mostly because there has been a notable lack of announcements from the company, at the same time that there have been a whole plethora of announcements about how much plug-in battery and hydrogen technology has advanced over that time frame. This combination has caused investors to second think RNG's place in the clean energy future, and whether Hyliion will be a big player in electrifying trucking fleets or not. But, this is a big but, Hyliion just announced a next generation battery module, which broadly implies that its renewable natural gas technology is making progress. And further, it implies that Hyliion's electric powertrains have significant advantages over legacy EV powertrains. This big announcement is exactly what Hyliion's sleepy stock needs to wake up and rebound back to $50 plus highs. Here's a deeper look. First, let's understand the core bull thesis on Hyliion's stock. It all starts with talking about the shortcomings of plug-in battery and hydrogen technology in long-haul transportation. Battery electric trucks have range, cost, and infrastructure problems. They can only travel a few hundred miles on one charge. They run at about $7 per diesel gallon equivalent versus $3 per gallon for diesel trucks. And there are less than 10 Class 6 through 8 electric truck recharging stations across North America. Hydrogen trucks, meanwhile, they do better on the range part, because hydrogen is super light, hydrogen fuel cells can be super dense, and therefore hydrogen trucks can drive much farther on a single charge. But hydrogen trucks still have the cost and infrastructure problems. There are also less than 10 Class 6 through 8 hydrogen truck refueling stations across North America, and hydrogen costs about $12 per diesel gallon equivalent. Thus, while the trucking industry needs to go green, and it really does need to go green, traditional renewable energy sources are not ready to viably decarbonize the industry just yet. Fortunately, there is another, entirely overlooked and ostensibly counterintuitive renewable energy source which is ready to immediately and cost-effectively decarbonize the trucking industry. And it's the one that differentiates Hyliion from other players in this space. When it comes to Hyliion's bull case, it's all about RNG. RNG, renewable natural gas, is just natural gas, except it's sourced from animal, industrial, and food waste, as opposed to being sourced from fossil fuels. Sure, that does mean RNG still emits CO2 during the natural gas combustion process, which is not good for the environment, but it also means that RNG captures and uses methane in traditionally methane-rich waste, and therefore prevents that methane from being emitted, which is really good for the environment. Now here's the kicker. Methane is considered much, much worse in terms of global climate change than CO2, mostly because methane is much, much, much better at absorbing heat. Therefore, as a process that boosts CO2 emissions, yet simultaneously reduces methane emissions, renewable natural gas is considered net carbon negative and ultimately a big win for the environment. Now, the cool thing about RNG is that it solves plug-in battery and hydrogen technology shortcomings in long-haul trucking. So let's talk about the big first shortcoming, range. A typical RNG truck will give you the same mileage as a diesel truck, whereas hydrogen and electric, not so much. What about infrastructure? Well, wind, hydrogen, solar, they all need new infrastructure. But RNG, it's a plug-and-play solution with existing natural gas infrastructure and therefore doesn't require huge capital spending to work at scale. After all, there are 729 Class 6 through 8 natural gas refueling stations across North America today. RNG can be pumped through all of those stations. What about costs? Well, as we talked about earlier, current prices for plug-in electricity and hydrogen are well above the equivalent in diesel, but current RNG prices hover around $1 per diesel gallon equivalent, which not only makes them way cheaper than hydrogen and plug-in batteries, but also cheaper than regular diesel. So, in short, RNG is a clean energy source that has best range, the lowest cost, and an already established infrastructure. And that means RNG is the only immediately usable technology to decarbonize trucking fleets. That's why Deloitte projects that by 2026, about 80% of all alternative drive systems in heavy-duty trucks will be based on natural gas. Now, why does all this matter for Hyliion? Well, Hyliion is positioned with a best-in-breed RNG truck powertrain platform, dubbed the Hypertruck ERX, that is due to start deliveries in 2021-2022. This platform will materially disrupt the trucking industry. And over the next decade, you could see a lot of UPS, DHL, FedEx, Coca-Cola, Walmart, so on and so forth trucks be built on the Hypertruck ERX powertrain. I mean, just look at the numbers here. Hyliion consistently outperforms rivals Nikola and Tesla when it comes to specs for long-haul trucking. The Hypertruck ERX sports driving range of 1,300 miles, which is 70% more than Nikola's hydrogen truck, which is around 750 miles, and about 160% more than Tesla's semi-truck, which clocks in at around 500 miles. The Hypertruck ERX also has a payload capacity of 53,000 pounds, which is 10% more than Nikola, which is around 48,000 pounds, and roughly 20% more than Tesla, which clocks in at 43,000 pounds. The Hypertruck ERX also has a full recharge time of just 10 minutes, which is the same as Nikola's hydrogen truck and 1/3 that of Tesla's semi-truck. Now, the 0 to 60 time on the Hypertruck ERX, also superior. It's at 20 seconds, which is basically on par with Tesla's semi-truck and 10 seconds shorter than Nikola's hydrogen truck. So, in other words, across the board, across all specs that matter, driving range, recharge time, Hyliion's Hypertruck ERX is the best clean energy long-haul truck technology platform in the market today. Meaning it is ready to lead the clean energy disruption of the Class 8 trucking market. Now, admittedly, for a while, Wall Street forgot about Hyliion's potential amid a noticeable absence in updates from the company. But Hyliion stock, if you've noticed, go look at the stock chart right now, is starting to perk up again. And that's because management just did deliver a critical business update. And this critical business update could get this stock back into supercharged winning mode. This past week, Hyliion unveiled its next generation battery module that has long battery life, higher recharging rates, and improved safety. Specifically, this improved battery module is capable of up to 5x as much cycle life as a conventional EV battery, can be recharged in under 8 minutes, and allows for more than a 40% improvement in cooling compared to previous systems, which of course allows for higher charge and longer sustained power output. Net, it's a powerful solution that could be the key to waking up investor interest in Hyliion stock. Before this announcement, Hyliion had been pretty quiet for months about any technological improvements or advancements. This silence dated back to the company's third quarter earnings report back in early October. And not surprisingly, amid this silence, Hyliion stock has been weak. But this new next-gen battery module is a big catalyst. And it could be exactly what Hyliion stock needs to wake up from its slumber and get back on a winning trajectory. Now, of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't end this piece by talking about Hyliion's huge long-term potential. That potential is truly huge because globally, there are about 1.7 million heavy-duty commercial vehicles sold every year. Now, this market will get electrified. And by 2030, probably more than 30%, maybe closer to 50% of all HCVs sold will be built on alternative drive systems. But let's call it 30% to be conservative. That implies about 500,000 plus alternative drive heavy-duty commercial vehicles sold in 2030. Of course, there'll be a lot of competition vying for those 500,000 deliveries. Tesla will win some, Nikola will win some other companies will win some, XL. There's a lot of companies out there. But Hyliion, with its immediately usable and exceptionally cost-effective RNG powertrains, should be able to win a decent share of that 500,000 vehicle pie. Let's call it 20%. Seems pretty conservative. That implies around 100,000 units sold for Hyliion in 2030. The company's internal financials are implying an average annual revenue per powertrain of over $60,000, while EBITDA margins at scale should rise towards 35%. If you plug in all these assumptions into a model, then Hyliion has a clear pathway to over $2 billion in EBITDA by 2030. High-quality truck component suppliers normally fetch a 15x EBITDA multiple in this market. Now, you put that 15x multiple on $2 billion in EBITDA, and you're talking about a potential future enterprise value here of over $30 billion. The market cap today, $3 billion. So this truly is, Hyliion stock truly is a stock which could rise 10x over the next decade. Well, that's all we have for this edition of Investor Place Quick Picks. I hope you like what you saw. If you did, please subscribe, hit the notification bell, smash the like button, follow me on Twitter, or if you like to read, come over and visit us at investorplace.com, where we have some of the market's best analysis. Until next time, cheers and happy investing to all.